Leonore Leet, in her text, Renewing the Covenant, a Kabbalistic Guide to Jewish Spirituality. This is Inner Traditions book, 1999. She's talking about Franz Rosenzweig's work in the 1920s. Rosenzweig says he is Redeemer in a much graver sense than he is Creator or Revealer. For he not only is the one who redeems, but he is also the one who is the redeemed. In the redemption of the world by man, by means of the world, God redeems himself. Man and world disappear in the redemption, but God perfects himself. Only in redemption, God becomes the one and all. It is becoming a unity. In the innermost sanctum of the divine truth, where man might expect all the world and himself to dwindle into likeness of that which he is to catch sight of, he thus catches sight of none other than a countenance like his own. The star of redemption is become countenance, which glances to me and out of which I glance. This idea of enjoining on the soul and hands of man to effect the Lurianic unification of the holy God and his Shekinah, this results in a true becoming of the divine, a becoming unity in which God is redeemed as well as man, and in which man finds his own individuality both preserved and perfected as the divine countenance, the divine face that is his own. This is the theme in the books of Enoch, of the idea of the prophet, the person, finding his own heavenly counterpart on that heavenly throne, becoming divine. That is an astonishing doctrine. Let me share this with you. This is out of Leonore Leet's The Secret Doctrine of the Kabbalah. This is a 1998, I think 98 or 96. Nope, 99. I lied. Ezekiel clearly associates the concept of the Son of Man with the divine throne chariot in his vision. She's discussing Elisha and Ezekiel's chariots, and the idea that there are spiritual practices by which man can become informed with divine power. The power to overcome earthly limitations, both in life and beyond it. And the goal of human existence is the perfecting of such holiness as can be achieved and giving eternal endurance. Just like Enoch was, just like Moses was, just like Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob have been, according to the Doctrine and Covenants, section 132. The wheels, the living creatures of Ezekiel's vision, the firmament, the throne, the likeness of a Son of Man that was on the throne, all of these ideas are the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Lord. Ezekiel 1, 26 and 28. The glory, that is, or the kavod of God, which he saw seated on the throne, had the appearance of a man. That's Ezekiel's vision. The phrase Son of Man used by God to Ezekiel would seem to imply that the prophet is a human son of God, a being derived from man who has achieved the status of divine sonship, which divine sonship is earlier attributed to the entire assembly of Israel, the Knesset Yisrael. The essence of this throne vision is, I saw the Lord sitting upon his throne. This is the Merkabah mysticism of the Jews. It is not directly of God, but it is a vision of glorified man. It is man in his potentially final state of spiritual transfiguration that would here seem to represent the glory of God and the final purpose of creation itself. The glory thus represented the supernal form of the divine Son. The essential meaning of Ezekiel's vision, then, is that the Son of Man, the human Son of God, is he who has achieved the mystical capacity to see the divine nature of his own higher self. The face one sees on the throne will be your own. He suddenly sees his own image standing before him. That's what happens when you enter into the realm of mystical prophecy, according to Ezekiel and Enoch. Fascinating. That's Leonore Leet, page 36, in The Secret Doctrine of the Kabbalah. Now, getting back to Andrei Orlov and the Enoch-Metatron tradition, I notice on page 138, for instance, he says, the specific attributes that accompany Metatron's elevation into a lesser manifestation of the divine name, this is among them, it is the enthronement of Metatron, the conferment upon him of a part of the divine glory, honor, majesty, and splendor. This is represented by a garment of glory and a robe of honor, and especially a crown of kingship, actually, or which is engraved the mystic letters on that crown. These represent cosmic and celestial agencies. The sharing of the attributes with the Godhead. The sharing of the attributes with the Godhead, according to Andrei Orlov, he says, is significant and might convey the omniscience of its bearer. Enoch, through becoming transformed into the divine Son of Man on the throne of glory, becomes omniscient. Now that's stunning. Humanity, that is our destiny. That's where we're heading if we choose. This is the point of creation, according to the books of Enoch. Endowed with the same attributes of God, Metatron, just like a deity, is omniscient. He is in fact called the Lesser Yahweh. His name is a share of the attribute of the celestial seat, an important symbol of authority. The Aramaic inscription bowl labels Metatron as the great prince of God's throne. He is the one who is allowed to sit in heaven. This is a privilege denied of the angels. So a human is elevated above the angels into a celestial being. That's fascinating stuff, isn't it? That's heady stuff when you think about this. More of Orlov on page 267 of his Enoch-Metatron tradition. Now the heavenly counterpart has its own glorious chair. This is sometimes referred to as a replica of the divine seat. This is in Orlov, the Enoch-Metatron tradition, page 267. It seems that the enigmatic identification of the prophet with the divine form can be expressed not through the concept of a vice-regent, but through the notion of a heavenly counterpart. In the light of the previous investigation of this concept in the Enochian and the Jacobite traditions, one can suggest that Moses' identification with the enthronement of the noble man in the exegogue might represent a Mosaic adaptation of the heavenly counterpart imagery. This is Moses' occupation of the glorious throne. What this reflects is a process of the unification of the seer with his celestial counterpart. It often involves identification with the kavod, that is, with the glory of God. It's called kavod in Hebrew. Since the heavenly counterpart appears to be directly linked with this celestial entity portrayed in some traditions as Jacob's image on the throne of glory. So we have an entire tradition here that has been lost, or at least misunderstood, in the Bible. This tradition is that humankind has a divine heavenly counterpart on the throne of glory, and the whole idea of unifying, becoming one with God, is unifying with that divinity and becoming that divinity.